Welcome to the Dig Into English podcast with Ben Henschke, episode 9. Hey everyone, this is Ben and I'm back again with the 9th episode of the Dig Into English podcast. This is the second episode in 2 days. I think I'm on a roll. This means that I'm doing well and getting lots of things done at the moment. 2 Fridays ago, we started a tour of Australia. I promised that I would introduce some cities that are not as well known as Australia's most famous tourist destinations. I started with Adelaide, my hometown. If you missed that episode, you can find it at digintoenglish.com/episode 6. Now, we're going to visit the capital city of Australia. No, not Sydney. A lot of people think that Sydney is the capital of Australia because it's Australia's biggest city. Unlike London, Paris, Tokyo or Seoul though, the capital city of Australia is not the largest city in the country. It's Canberra, which has a population of less than 400,000 people. That makes it Australia's 8th largest city. Canberra is called Australia's bush capital. Australians say the bush when they talk about places outside the cities where not many or even no people live. Canberra is really in the middle of nowhere. It takes about 3 hours to drive from Canberra to Sydney and 6 hours to drive from Canberra to Melbourne. Once, when I drove from Adelaide to Canberra with my dad, it took us 15 hours. When you leave Canberra in a car, you quickly realise that you're in the bush. There is lots of empty space, with trees, fields and hills instead of houses. The whole area was like this until 1908, when the Australian government decided that Canberra should be Australia's capital city. Until that time, Sydney and Melbourne fought over which city would become the capital. The government decided on Canberra as a compromise, which is something that 2 sides agree to, even though they really want something better for themselves. A compromise is often the only way to solve or end an argument. Canberra was finally built in 1913, so it celebrated its centenary, or its 100th birthday, this year. Even though Canberra is in the middle of a lot of empty space, it's full of things to do. You can visit the National Library, the National Gallery, which is an art gallery, and Parliament House, which is where the government meets. If you're interested in Australian history, you should visit the War Memorial, where you can learn all about all of the wars that Australia has participated in. To participate in something means to be involved in it. Even if you don't like history, you should still visit the War Memorial so that you can see the best view in Canberra. You get a breathtaking view of Parliament House, Old Parliament House, and the lake in the middle of Canberra. Breathtaking is a word that we use to describe beautiful scenery. I could also say that the view will take your breath away. I'll post a photo of this view on the Dig Into English Facebook page at facebook.com/digintoenglish. If museums and art galleries aren't your thing, which means that you don't like them, don't worry. There are plenty of nice cafes, bars and shops as well. You'll often find bars filled with students, especially when they've just finished their exams. If the weather is nice, the best way to enjoy Canberra is on a bike. You can ride around the lake and stop to sit down in one of the grassy parks. Unfortunately, riding your bike in winter isn't as nice, unless you like having a frozen face. Even though Australia is famous for its sunny summer weather, Canberra's winter is famously cold. I lived in Canberra for a year because I studied there. The Australian National University is in Canberra, and I think it's Australia's best university, or uni as we call it. If you're thinking of studying in Australia, I would definitely recommend Canberra. There are lots of places to live on the university campus, so you can easily participate in student life. Just remember not to spend too much time in the bars and cafes. You might forget to study. Some Australians look down on Canberra, which means that they think their city is better than Canberra. I hope today's episode has shown you that it's an interesting city as well. What do you think? Does it sound like a nice city? Or would you rather visit other places in Australia? Let me know in a comment on this episode's page, digintoenglish.com/episode 9. On that page, you can also download a free PDF that includes the script for this episode and some extra explanations of difficult words and phrases. If you enjoy Dig Into English, I would be very thankful if you left a rating or a comment on iTunes. You can let me know if you like the podcast, or if you think I should improve something. I'm looking forward to the 10th episode next week. Have a great weekend and keep enjoying learning English. I'll catch you next time.